Hello, good evening, everyone. How's it going? All well? Okay, so the topic that we are going to take up today is how to stay free from other people's negativity. I was just having some thoughts on it. It's not really that we become free of anything, right? It's like it's something in the environment, and then we find ourselves just influenced by that, right? Let's say we are traveling on a train or on path, right? And I'm reading a book first, for example. I would not mind anything that's going in front of me. I'm just too absorbed by the book, by what I'm reading, right? So there is no effort that goes into becoming free from something that is outside, but it's rather the realization that I have to strengthen of what I'm working towards or what I'm truly interested in, right? So, well, spirituality tells us that if we focus on ourselves, our virtues, our positive habits, our positive ways of interaction, peace, happiness, bliss, joy, it's something we just can naturally cultivate. And we don't have to work towards it. So the more we strengthen that realization, the more it becomes natural. I can just start to take a pause for like a minute or so, and then just detach from the vibration that's currently surrounding me. For example, let's say if we enter a room and let's say our friends are having a heated argument about something, or a heated debate about something. Even though we are not a part of that discussion, you would immediately catch up those feelings, those expressions, and those vibrations, right? But how do I remain away from that? I can just focus on my attitude, right? And I can cultivate that, and maybe even try to influence those involved who are supposedly responsible, let's say, and even share that vibration with them, that vibration of peace, that vibration of calmness, and rather influence the environment rather than being influenced by it. So Sister Rona is going to take us on that reflection today, and let's see how we can cultivate this little wisdom nugget and put it into action.
Thank you, Achal. And it is the season of lights again. Started with Diwali this beginning of this week. And of course, Thanksgiving is upcoming, variety of holidays. And so it is the time for meeting, greeting friends, family, old stories, childhood stories, relationships, past and present, good relationship and also some sour relationships. And so it is also the time where we are confronted with our relationship skills. And some of us do not necessarily have any relationships. And during this time, it is more a time of loneliness, or alone, or not having much to do. And so what then many of us just do is watch television, or these days, what do we watch? YouTube, Netflix, binge watching. But also that tells us something about ourselves. And but it is also a time of the end of the year nearing, a new year starting, lots of things that need to be wound up, need to be finished, and also because of the holidays and the activities, lots of gifts, lots of food, lots of drink, lots of party, which also imply lots of expenses. And so also the stress of the holidays in the context of finances, but also the stress around the holidays in the context of travel maybe, and preparing and cleaning and all of that needs to be done. So these are the times that we usually are a bit more on edge, a bit more active maybe. But these are also the times that we are more confronted with the quality of our interactions. And we might be having people who push our buttons more around us during these times. And you may have them whole year around, but these times it might be a bit extra. So it is useful. And also welcome those on Zoom. I do appreciate and encourage you to come in camera if you're not traveling or walking outside or so. But appreciating very much to you not being just a fly incognito on the wall. And so this whole concept of, this has become a very popular expression, toxic people, no? And how to be free from toxicity yourself. How do I not become toxic myself? How do I not get influenced myself by others, or by others people's stress, or other people's negativity, or whatever it is that they have. And maybe first of all we could define a bit what would we understand as other people's negativity. How would we understand negativity? One way that we understand it, or usually can feel it, is when criticism, someone who is very critical and criticizing everything, especially everything you do or say. Because if people are criticizing the weather, you just shake your shoulders and say, okay, fine. But especially when that criticism is directed towards you or the things you do, and if it is ongoing, it is an unpleasant situation. How else would you define negativity? It manifests also as irritability. Whatever you do or say, they are annoyed. Whatever you suggest is always no. Whatever you say, they always take the opposite positioning. That is another way this friction manifests.
Someone always complaining.
They are always complaining. Someone who is always complaining from morning till evening, huh? That's the worst.
I could probably ignore everything else but the complaining.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
Complaining. Yeah. What else? How else does it manifest? Negativity.
Constant feelings of
not good enough, no matter what.
Yeah, a constant expressing the feeling that it is not good enough. Nothing is good. You do this is not good, you do that is not good, you don't do anything is also not good, you do more is also not good, you do left is not good, you do up is not good, nothing, it is, and what happens is ultimately nothing happens. It is a very paralyzing situation. Go ahead.
I remember one scenario in high school when I was playing basketball. I had a coach who just I couldn't do anything right, but he still played me. But he just like I don't. It was just so confusing, and like you said, eventually I became paralyzed.
Yeah.
And I think it's a controlling type of spirit, and a lot of people have it like where they have to control someone, especially when it's like someone who's like maybe talented or something, like, and there's a coach, they have to control it. They just can't let it be. Like they have to like have like a say so for it, and yeah.
So that controlling nature. Some may have this control, this need to control others.
Exactly.
That is another way that negativity manifests. Another way that it manifests is people who are sad. Yeah, they, for whatever reason, they are sad, and no matter what or no matter how, that sadness prevails. And of course, that ultimately can spiral down in depression. And if you have to live with someone like that or be around someone like that all the time, it might not always be very easy. No. Any other things? Yeah, the victim mindset. Yeah, that is a bit connected with complaining, no? And always. It also is connected with blaming others, blaming situation, blaming others for how I feel, for what is happening to me. The whole world is so bad. They're always out to undermine me, that kind of a thing. Or seeing conspiracies everywhere. Feeling that people are always against you, that people are out to, put you down. This kind of victim mentality. But other ways that negativity manifests, and this is very useful to realize, especially during these times where we get together a lot, is gossip. Gossiping, talking about other people. First of all, none of your business. Second of all, you talking about it not going to change anything. But spreading, gossip and poisoning your mind and other people's mind. It is like poison. If somebody says something about someone, and after 10 minutes that person walks in, what will you think about? And this happens a lot. These days, socializing, much of our socializing is just gossip. That is negativity also. Another way that negativity manifests is fear and anxiety. People spread their fears. They always talk about, this happened, or that, the subway, oh my God, so many. You are fearful and then creating fear in others. The other day someone was telling, oh, didn't you read the news? And this is on the news, and this is on the news, and this is on the news. And what is it? The F line, the trains, this happened. It's true. It's not that that is not true. But one thing went wrong on the F line yesterday. How many things went good on the F line? Does that make the news? It doesn't. And okay, it doesn't make the news, but do I realize? Every day, how many people travel on the subway? 1 million people at least, easily. So 1 million people find their way where they're going and going back. Fine. One or two things went wrong. I'm not saying that it's justifiable that it went wrong, but we blow that all out of proportion. And 1 million minus 2 times that it went good, that we don't give any credit. And in our mind we make that 2 times so big that now I am scared to go on the train. You understand what I'm trying to say? Taking things all out of proportion, and fear does that. And it is contagious. Somebody starts a conversation on something negative, shooting on the train, whatever. Everybody in the conversation start talking about it. So also the negativity is contagious, but why is it contagious? Because we are receptive to it. We also make things big in our mind that are negative. And so if there are probably other forms of negativity also, of course then there is the extreme forms where it becomes anger and cursing and even physical violence. All of that can also happen in interactions. But usually there are signs before it goes into that direction. Because for that physical or verbal violence to erupt, there are other little signs already, but we generally tend to ignore those signs or don't feel ourselves powerful enough to stop it at that moment. And then it grows and grows, and then there are the bigger forms of it. But today's talk, how can we be free from this negativity? A simple slogan or method for yourself to experiment with and to hold with and to practically practice with is when you're in a taking mode, or whether you are in a giving mode. Giving mode. Achal already made reverence in this direction. At least you focus on yourself. You're not in a taking mode. When we are in a taking mode, we are very vulnerable for anything and everything in our environment, and for other people's vibrations, for other people's behavior and reactions. When we are in a giving mode, we are aware of what is going on, but we are not affected because we are in a giving mode. I'm not sure how to say it. And so we can give examples. A taking mode is, for example, having expectations. Expectations. Having expectation is very bigly giving taking mode. The moment we are having expectation, we are vulnerable, first of all, to be disappointed. Say, for example, you have the expectation that for the next 2 weeks it will not rain. Not a drop. If you have that expectation, first of all, deeper inside there will be this unsure. Will it rain, will it not rain? So some stress inside is built up because any day, any time, any moment it can rain. Will it rain, will it not rain? Will it rain, will it not rain? So the undercurrent of some, unrest will be there the moment I make that expectation. And if it does rain, I'm sad because I had hoped it would not rain. Now, how big is the possibility that it will not rain for 2 weeks? Especially this. It's very slim. But moment I create that expectation, I create my own unrest inside. And I make myself vulnerable because it is not in my hands for that expectation to be fulfilled or not. And I'm saying a ridiculous example, but we have these expectations also from people. We expect people to be nice. We expect people to be good-mannered. We expect people to say hello, especially when I said hello. We expect others to be friendly, to be kind, to be how I want them to be. We expect that. Moment we do that, we are vulnerable because people are how they are. They have their own stories, they have their own irritations, they have their own stresses, they have their own traumas, they have their own life to live. They are not living for you. So the moment I create an expectation, I as if give them the power over how I feel. And if they are in a good mood, I feel good. But if they are not, I feel bad. This is one big manifestation of being in a taking mode or in a needy mode. This mode makes it impossible for me to be free from other people's state, whether good or bad. And if I want to be free from uninfluenced by other people, this is the last place I need to be. Moment I feel an expectation, it can be anything. No? You come to work and you say hello, and there are 4 others. Do you say hello with the expectation that they say hello back? If I do like that, I am vulnerable because one might not say hello back. If they do, it's nice, and if they don't, that's also fine. That is a healthy inner attitude. They might have a bad day, so they don't feel like talking. And they have right to not feel like talking. Just because I said hello, why am I expecting that same response from them. And these are simple examples. But I know people who can be off mood just because somebody else did not say hello back. And what happens with your day? You woke up peacefully, you woke up light, and you go to work expecting people to say hello to you. They don't. Your mood goes down. Then something else happened, go further down. Something else goes further down. Now, the giving mode is the opposite of this. The giving mode is where you are understanding that not everyone is like you. Simple. And they don't have to be either. Where you are understanding that people go through their own stories. The giving mode means that I cooperate with my peace and my enthusiasm. I add that, I bring that. The giving mode means how do you say that? Being solution oriented. Taking mode is opposite of this. Everything is a problem. Or everywhere seeing problems. Can you see this? How this is taking as opposed to giving. And it is a very simple thing to remind yourself of. Am I in the taking mode or am I in a giving mode? And just check yourself. More you are in a taking mode, more possibility for you to be miserable without having done anything. More you are in a giving mode, more chances are there actually that you help others out of their miserableness. You want to say anything about this?
I personally find it very difficult sometimes to be in a giving mode towards someone who has a very negative energy that they bring into the room. I suppose there's something within me that feels like I want to hide away and protect myself from being attacked, I guess, with that negativity. So it's not so much that I want to withhold a giving energy, it's more so an act of protection. So I would love to be able to give.
Yeah, very good. Yeah.
In that state.
No, excellent. It just means you don't feel confident or strong enough. Because the giving mode and the taking mode, whatever is there, you will take it in, no? And you don't want to take it in. And you feel your giving is not powerful enough to overcome that. That's just being honest with yourself, and it is good to then, if somebody is hitting, you're not going to stand there be boxing ball. You get to a place where you're safe, but you use your safe zone to build up power. Because we live in a world where we cannot hide away. Or, well, we can, but what life is that? And being free from other people's negativity doesn't mean you are isolating yourself, or you are condemning people, or not wanting to be in their company. You may not be agreeing with where they are at and how they're behaving, or the way they position themselves in life. It's not that you hate somebody, that you want to be away from them forever. We cannot isolate. Well, we can, but the aim is not to isolate ourselves. But the aim is to be strong enough to you spreading the peace, you spreading love, you giving understanding, you spreading wisdom and lightness, instead of expecting others to do it for me and to give it to me. There's a very different positioning. And unfortunately, for whatever reason, our culture has moved into worldwide, no? Has moved, some cultures a bit more than others, but has moved more and more into this needing and taking and desiring and expecting and maybe even demanding mode. And much less from that mode of giving, mode of having a certain state of mind and a certain perspective and a certain awareness of self and cultivating my own inner strengths and beauty and wisdom to give that. And deeper down, it comes down to the question of what is my aim in life and what is my purpose? Is my purpose to take or is my purpose to give? Am I here to serve or am I here to be served? And if you look at studies they have done since the year 2000, lots of psychological studies on happiness, the science of happiness and positive psychology. And one of the things they have studies is what are the factors that make people happy. And they have researched people who feel fulfilled in life. People, famous and non-famous people. They have huge studies, thousands of people interviewed. And it is interesting, many of us have certain myths, mythical ideas about what would make us happy. And of course, one of those things is name and fame. We think name and fame make people happy, but the reality is actually the opposite. Many famous people's life is not so not so stable at the least. Another illusion that we carry in our mind without having properly thought about it is money. We think being rich will make us happy. Being rich provides you with certain things, but it doesn't make people, it is not a guarantee for happiness. And once people have covered some basic needs for existence, making more money doesn't make them more happy. So these illusions that we carry about we want to be happy, we want to be peaceful, many of these illusionary ideas, they are myths, because when people have those things or not have them, they are not happy based on that. Now, many strive for relationships, want to get married. People who are married, they are happy. Many want to have children. Now they are more stressed. And so many of these cliche myths that we carry in our head, that we should do or have to do to be happy, they are not true. And what we then do is these, these unthought through concepts we keep in our mind, we live with them. And we want to see them fulfilled. And because they are not fulfilled or they are not fulfilling, we want others to make us happy. We want others to feel us good. But we're coming from a space of emptiness. Now, in those same studies, what they see truly makes people happy is when they have an attitude of serving others. People who can make sacrifices for the benefits of others, those are people who have a deep sense of fulfillment, a deep sense of self-respect also. You know, of course, we can to give some famous examples. Someone like Nelson Mandela went to prison, 28 years, solitary confinement. I don't know if you know what that is, but a small cell, and you don't meet anybody. You don't talk to anybody. And why? He wanted to free his nation from oppressive, racist regime. So a deeper motivating, noble cause. He sacrificed for that. Lots of things he sacrificed, not just prison. Deeper inside, there is a deeper sense of self-respect that comes from that. Now, we are not all Nelson Mandela, and we don't have to. But deep within our own contexts, can I renounce my comforts for benefit of others? This gives strength inside. This gives power, and this gives also a deeper sense of self-respect. Now we live in a society that is very consumer-oriented. Consuming, taking and taking. And it is the taking and consuming attitude that actually makes us weak. And also make us feel that we need, instead of being able to give and serve. And in every interaction with anyone, check your attitude. Is it, there are 3 types of attitudes in interaction with others. One is, what is in it for me? Well, how do you call this? The me. The me. What is in here for me? What can I get here? The second attitude is the attitude of complaining. Why is it like this? Why is it not like this? Why you said like this? Why you don't do like this? You should do like this. Complainer. And the third attitude is, how can I cooperate? How can I help? What can I do? What can I give? These three types of attitude. And what they observed when they studied these attitudes in people, what they observed is that people who have the attitude to cooperate, this attitude of what can I give, how can I help, how can I make it better, what can I contribute, people who have that type of attitude, in any situation they are more happy. Even in situations that are extremely, distressing. I forgot this, what is his name? Dr. I forgot his name. Peter Frankel, I think is his name. A doctor who was in Auschwitz, in a concentration camp situation for years. And he observed human attitude, and in himself also. He says, in those type of circumstances, if you can give, it gives a deeper sense of, strength and confidence. So, it may be opposite to what we have grown to believe and to think that we need to get, but actually, the winners in life are the ones who can serve, who can contribute, who can give. And to be free from other people's negativity means your positive attitude, your perspective should be so uplifting that you can always be on a high and give others high too.
Sounds like having no expectations, having the understanding that other people are not me and they don't have to be, and being content with myself.
Yeah.
Is the way to avoid being influenced by others' negativity. The other thing that I was thinking is the taking person is also the needy person.
Yeah.
And I remember a long time ago, if I held the door for someone and they didn't say thank you, I sarcastically said, "You're welcome." And I recognize that now as me needing to be appreciated.
Yeah. Very good. Excellent. Yeah.
Maybe I didn't appreciate myself enough, so I was looking for it from someone else.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so that's what comes to mind. But
very good.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And it starts with little things, no? Little everyday here and there moments. It is not just one big moment and that is everything. It is the little moments here and there. And we don't realize that many little things we do just to get complimented, just to get, you cook and then, how was it? Did it taste well, and it's almost like, do because it is good to do. Give because you love to give, regardless, that kind of attitude. It is a good thing to keep the door open for others, regardless of whether they say thank you or not. It is a beautiful gesture. Why diminish that gesture with an expectation of a return? You diminish the power of the quality of your action and the quality of your own feeling by attaching an expectation to it. And your stage just goes down through that. Now, but what Jillian was saying is also, sometimes you don't feel strong enough. You just try to hide. That is a deeper point, and that is where a spiritual practice comes in. If you have a regular spiritual practice that empowers you on the inside, that fills you, that makes you full, a deeper awareness and understanding of your innate nature and your innate beauty, and to nourish that. We need to do that regularly because our culture doesn't do that for us. We have a culture that constantly tells you, you don't have, you need to do this, buy that, get this, then you will be okay. If you have this, you will be okay. If you have that, you will be okay. You need another mobile, you need the newer version, you need this shampoo, you need that, what is it? Oil of Olas. You need this shoe, you need that. We are constantly bombarded with the message that you are not good enough unless you get this, unless you have that. So we need to counteract that with an internal reinforcement of the power and the beauty of who we truly are as spiritual beings. And this is why I feel meditation is not a luxury. It is a necessity. The practice of meditation, the taking into yourself regularly spiritual wisdom to reinforce healthy thinking patterns about yourself, about life, a deeper understanding of why you are here and what is the best way to play this game of life. And then more you do that on a regular basis, consistently, you're building up that inner base from where you can give. Or at least where you don't feel the need to take. And another way that expectations manifest is in desires. This feeling you need, I need. I need them to say thank you. Otherwise my mood is off. You did such a good thing to open the door for someone. And then your mood goes off because they did not respond the way you expected or needed them or wanted them to respond. So you did a good thing, but then you put an expectation to it, and then you weaken your good action. And you're putting yourself in this beggar mode. Okay, anyone want to say anything before we... There is an anecdote or a poem that some of you may have heard already that I would like to tell, but before that, anyone wants to say something, ask something?
Just to follow up to what I was saying before, if someone comes around and is kind of consistently negative to the point where it feels like nothing that you do is correct, whether you stay silent or you stay in your peace or you walk away or you give something to them and it's still the same energy, I wonder how does one go about encountering
We don't need
that?
to interact all the time. Just go about your own business. We don't need to avoid, but we don't need to actively interact either. If you're in the same, for example, working space or so, I don't have to all the time be interactive with that person or being what is it, attentive to how they feel or what they don't feel. You have choice. No? Focus on yourself and do what you have to do. We don't have to all the time try and make them feel good. That's not my job either. That's their job, to make them feel good. Your job is to look after yourself. Because that is something sometimes we overlook that, no? Or if you live with the person or in the same household, you don't have to constantly interact with people all the time. You have right to your own space, your own time, your own reflections, your own activity. And if it is an intimate partner, then of course you need to really do some soul searching and have some proper conversations where it is the whole purpose of being together. But if not, then you don't have to 24/7 interact with someone.
Yeah, the person I'm talking about is my brother, and I encounter him very frequently. But I realize in something that you were just saying, with regard to not needing to be attentive to someone 24/7, is that there's also can be sometimes like a hidden savior complex, even within me. And in reality, that is a taking mindset. So I realized that just now.
Yeah. But it is good to, we need to do what we need to do for ourselves. Because sometimes it is possible that other people may also feel like that about us. And to also know that whatever a situation is, it is my interpretation of it. And how I see it. And my seeing can be distorted. My seeing can be colored by my own ego. My seeing and interpretation of things can be distorted by my expectations, my desires, my needs, but it can be distorted by my perspective. And this is where it becomes even more important to return to your spiritual practice with more strength, because more you come into this awareness of the self as a soul, more you move into that soul conscious perspective, more you become free. And you see this as a drama, the game of human life, each one playing part, but behind there all are souls, spiritual beings, my brothers, and they are just going through their own karmic stories. The beautiful saying, I feel, at least, that the Brahma Kumaris has, that the Raj Yoga teachings have, is don't give sorrow, but don't take sorrow. Because if you take sorrow, you will end up giving sorrow. And one big way that taking sorrow happens is by expectations and desires. Okay, so a short anecdote. This is a poem, and some of you may have heard this poem already, from Rabindranath Tagore in his book Gitanjali, a collection of short stories and poems. It is a poem called The Beggar and the King, or The King and the Beggar. So there was this beggar in a village who was begging from door to door every day for his bread and his livelihood. And one day he woke up and he had this premonition that today would be different. And he went out of the door and there was a golden light on the horizon. And that golden light was approaching the village. And so his heart started pounding and he thought, wow. And this golden light enters the street where he is begging. And that golden light is not just the golden light, it's a golden carriage. And on that carriage is the King of Kings, God, sitting. So now he knows, and he thinks, okay, God has come, my days of happiness, my days of poverty, my days of begging have finished. And so this golden carriage with God comes towards him. And in his mind he starts preparing his list, what he gonna ask. God. So God comes off the carriage, the carriage stops in front of the beggar, and the King of Kings comes off the carriage with a big smile and puts out his hand and says, what do you have to give to me? So this poor beggar, completely surprised, what is this, God? Doesn't he know I'm a beggar? What is he asking me? He's supposed to give me. But this is the King of Kings, so you can't say no. So he goes in his pocket and he looks for the smallest piece of grain. He takes it out the pocket and puts it in the hand of the King of Kings, who smiles, says thank you, turns around, gets on the carriage and goes off. The golden light disappears on the horizon, leaving this poor beggar disillusioned, immobilized. And so what he has to do, he continues begging, and at the end of the day he goes home and he empties his pocket, he empties his bags, and he empties his baggage on the kitchen table. And between the pieces of bread and the pieces of rice, grains, he finds a little piece of gold. Just as small as the grain that he had given to the King of Kings. And the last sentence of that poem is, I wished and I wept that I had had the heart to give him my all. And this poem illustrates the law of life. Life is not about how much I can wish for, how much I can desire, how much I can expect. Life is about how much I can give, how much I can share from what I have. That is what will come back to us. And so in our relationship with negative people, toxic, experiment with this. Yeah. Experiment with this mindset of cooperation, mindset of contributing, mindset of how can I add. Okay? But don't forget, if you don't already have, create a spiritual practice. And if you already have one, become more accurate and more regular with it. Okay? Thank you. And Om Shanti.